Today we are going to discuss the land issue in small snippets. I'll give you 6 points to discuss or to look up at, and we will start from Lancaster House conference. If you will, the Lancaster House conference was between the year 1960 and 1962. There were 2 or 3 conferences then. I think there was a third one was in 1963. But anyway, that's where the script was written. I want to explain to you what happened. And at the Lancaster conference, something very, very secretive happened, because the white settlers who were representatives in the the Legislative Council under the British government conspired and agreed to, I wouldn't say bribe, but entice the African team, that is part of KANU and KADU delegates who were in the conference, to agree to be allocated land, so that when they are when they are protecting their land, then the white settlers' land will be protected. And that's when they came up with what is called the willing seller, willing buyer concept. So they agreed that whoever can be able to buy the land will buy, but you can only buy if the Mzungu or the settlers are willing to sell. And then that is where it all started. Meaning that land wasn't, what I'm trying to say here is that land was not handed back to the Kenyans. The Kenyans were fighting for the land, but it was actually not handed back to them. It had to be bought. Okay, number 2, after independence, and that is 1963 to 1970, is when now you come and you find what we call the million-acre settlement scheme that was begun. There was a million-acre settlement scheme that was begun, and the farmers used what you would call cooperative societies to pool money and buy land from the settlers. At first, the co-ops gave hope to ordinary Kenyans, but what happened is there was what you call the elite capture. The elite capture came out very clearly from the 1970s. After the cooperatives were bought, then the elite could buy the rest. That's how the politicians and powerful families took advantage. That's when the politicians and powerful families took advantage. They used what is called corps and state connections to grab a land meant for Mwananchi, or for the Mau Mau fighters, or for the Kenyans. What happened then is that ordinary members often lost out, stuck with the debt, or with very small shares. You can see now how it's coming up. Then come the Ndung'u Land Commission. The Ndung'u Land Commission of 2004 came out and now started investigating land allocations since independence. That's now to even come up with what was called the massive land grabbing that was being done, that is between 1970 and in the 1990s. There was a lot of that, and because of that, the Kibaki government, because there was a lot of noise of land grabbing, schools land being grabbed, social amenities areas that are supposed to be also playgrounds for young people, especially in rural urban areas, like not in urban areas like Nairobi, or cities like Nairobi. We are also being now targeted. There was a lot of land grabbing and road reserves. A lot of road reserves had been grabbed, because if you may, from the 70s up to the 90s, there was a lot of land allocation. As a matter of fact, when the cooperatives bought the little lands or pieces of land that the Muzungus or the settlers were willing to sell under cooperatives, there were a lot of other very, very prime lands that the cooperatives could not afford. And that's when this money that had come from the World Bank, now from the British government and from German, was given to the elite politicians and the civil servants to buy those lands. I'm talking of Red Hill and and areas like that. So they bought those lands, they bought the coffee lands, but majority of the other were bought by cooperatives. But again, like the cooperatives, they had also been loaned, and some of these people, the people with very small shares, could not afford and could not sustain waiting for the transfers or for the repayment of the loan. So they started selling it back again to the elites. So you find there are a lot of elites who were involved in the cooperative lands that had been bought. When Ndung'u now came, because of this, they exposed the massive illegal grabbing of forest, public land, and cooperative land. The report named some names, but implementation was blocked because most of the names that were named are people who are still in government up to today, or some who were still in the government then when the report came out. The report came out in 1905, just before, not 19. I'm talking about the year 2004, 2005, about 2006. I think that's when the report was released, because the report had been sanctioned by Kibaki when the NAC government came into power in 2002, because of those promises that they had done during the campaign of 2002. They had promised that people will be given back their land. Then that report came, but the report was not implemented. The report was not implemented. Then from there, we will now look at what is called the TJRC. That is the Truth, Justice, and Reconciliation Commission. That was established because when you look at the non-implementation of the Ndung'u report, the non-implementation of the Ndung'u report brought up a lot of other, another spanner was thrown into the works. That is a Katiba, the constitution story came up. The constitution actually was going hand in hand together with the Ndung'u Land Commission report, that inquiry, that investigation. So most of the political narrative was given more weight than the land narrative. So people went for the government forced the political narrative of Katiba, and then we came to the 2005 Katiba referendum. During that referendum, the government lost out very badly, and the people who were agitating for a new constitution, I'm talking of the people who were in government but they were for a Katiba that was I think it's called the Kilifi draft or something. We will go into that later, but now what I'm trying to say is that now there was the banana chungwa in 2005, the banana chungwa referendum. So the chungwa won. The banana was with Kibaki. The chungwa was the prime minister. Then I think he was not a prime minister. Then I think he was a minister. That is Raila Amolo Odinga and the other group. The Chungwa group. We will discuss that later. But the Chungwa group was led by Raila, and the banana group was led by Kibaki. They're in the same government, but one wants this and the other one wants this. There's one is being called Wako draft. The other one is called the Kilifi draft. So I think the Kilifi draft kind of won. or the one that Nani was fighting for, the Odinga group, the Orange group. The Orange group won. So when the Orange group won, then the government was the presidency. That is Kibaki and company, and his vice president. I think it was then. I don't know whether it was still Moody Awori or it was Kijana Wamalo. I think Kijana Wamalo had just passed on, and I think Moody was there. I can't remember who he was, but I think Wamalo had just passed on. But what I'm trying to establish here is that Kibaki did not win the referendum of 2005, so he fired a lot of these ministers, and they actually got out of the government, and they started a new agitation for another referendum, and they lost their ministerial posts. I'm talking Kalonzo, I'm talking Raila, I'm talking others like I think the Charity Ngilus, and people like Akina. I think they were not Wamalo, there is somebody else I'm forgetting, but there was a NAC, there was a National Alliance of Kenya, and then there was the the Liberal Party, the Liberal Party. They came together and then they formed the NAC, and they were fighting for the new before they formed a party. They were now fighting for the new constitution. So we went to another referendum. That is the second referendum, and for now you see, land has been forgotten. Land has been forgotten now, and I want us to come back to land, because that's what the government does, because they push away the land, because all these players who are fighting for this government leadership or political leadership in government are beneficiaries of the land. They are beneficiaries of the land allocations, either illegal or but they are all illegal or grabbing. They were all beneficiaries. So when you are discussing land, they would rather not. They would rather you discuss what we are calling referendum. Now we go back to politics. So they fight again for politics. Then the 2010, then there is a new. First of all, before 2010, there is a general election in 2007. 2007, there is a big general election, and there is what we call a misunderstanding. People like Akina Nania to come in, what do you call them, Kofi Annan, to quell that. A lot of people died. But then there is when now there is now the Serikali of Nusumkate. That Serikali of Nusumkate now comes in. And then there is where now the problem of, not the problem, but the agitation for a new constitution takes a bigger space in the political arena. And then we get the 2010 constitution. We get the 2010 constitution. But now, like I say, from there is what we call the people are not happy. Not the people, but some of the politicians and some of the people who have now seen this new constitution are not very happy. And then there is also now a big argument. And then after that, political unrest in 2007 and the beginning of 2008, and Kofi Annan coming in and bringing in a new Nusumkate government, then there is a lot of uneasiness. People are not easy in this government. People are not easy. They are not easy with this Nusumkate government. And anyway, there is another election coming in 2012, kind of postponed, because now there are some people who have been now implicated with murder, actually what is called genocide. People have been implicated, and then they are supposed to be taken to the Hague. That is when the 10 The 10, there was a 10. The envelope with the 10 with the Waki Commission, these people are now to be taken to the Hague. So there was a big problem. So the election of 2012 is postponed, and people like Uhuru Kenyatta and Ruto are taken to the Hague, and the mkubwa wa polisi Ali Mudhaura, I think, the head of civil service. There were about six were taken, and there was a journalist also there. 6 were taken. The list had 10, but 4 were left out. This is the Ocampo. We call them the Ocampo 6. The Ocampo 6 went to the 8th, but then the Nani was left there. Eventually, it said that not Raila, Uhuru and Ruto will go to answer those charges. Anyway, I want to come back to what I'm talking about, land. During this time, there is a lot of agitation. So in 2013 now, in 2013, or immediately after that that Nusumkate thing, after the new constitution, then there is a report. There is a commission that set up to look at what is called historical injustices. Those historical injustices will now again touch on land. My issue here is land. Land is the issue, and I want us to understand land is the issue. These other siyasas, they are juicy, but that is not there. Under the carpet, what is under the carpet? Under the carpet is land. Every time you see anything in this country, just talk land, and you will see everybody, especially in leadership, especially the political leaders, government, and also some big businesses, even some churches are involved. If you go through the Ndung'u Land Commission report, you will know that. Anyway, from 2013 now, that commission starts working. It brings in a report, but again, it's not implemented. I'm talking about the TJRC. TJRC. That's Truth, Justice and Reconciliation Commission report. That one comes in, it's given to the government, and again, the historical injustice that we are supposed to be looked in is the ones from independence, that 1963, to the time of this fight up to 2008. The report is supposed to cover that period from 1963 to 2008. Confirmed that land grabbing and corruption were key causes of inequality, violence, and ethical tensions. That is what the report confirmed. The report confirms that land grabbing, corruption were the key causes of inequality, violence, and ethnic tension. I'll repeat. The Truth, Justice, and Reconciliation Commission report of 2013, I think that's when it was tabled, of 2013, confirms that land grabbing, now I'm coming back to land. I want you to look at me properly. Look me straight in the eye. Land grabbing. And then, let's say corruption. But I don't want to talk about corruption. I want land. Were key causes of inequality. Land inequality. And then the violence that comes is because of land. Then the ethnic tensions, because there are a lot of people who are removed from where their ancestral lands were. Yeah, talk of the Ongiek and others, and who were removed, the Maasais. Most of them, there's a lot of tension. Okay, it gave recommendations, but again, politicians buried it. Today, we are in 2025. The truth is written in Ndung'u and TJRC. TJRC reports. Today, in 2025, the truth is written in the Ndung'u and TJRC reports. The fight now is about action, not more reports. Not more reports, it's action. Let's take action. Let's take action. This is where the Gen Z come in. This is where the Generation Z comes in. That's where you come in, young people. Yeah, and you have to involve you have to involve also the Generation Alpha. Now you have to take action. The action was taken. The report are out. Now take action. To what? To demand land justice. Action to do what? To demand land justice. Action to do what? To demand land justice. Truth, accountability. Without those, then what governance are you talking about? Huh? What governance are you talking about? What corruption are you talking about? What corruption are you talking about? With land injustice. Without the truth. What are you talking about? Without accountability. Thank you very much. We'll talk again on these issues in details. I just wanted to give you your work. 2025. Action. Take action. Take action. Don't go in the streets. Even if you are going to the streets, what are you going there for? Eh? Lazima ujue. Action ile mnaenda kuchukua ni nini? It's land injustice. Land justice. Land justice. Truth and accountability. Land justice. Truth and accountability. Hiyo ndio mnafichwa. And the reports are out. The Ndung'u Land Commission report is out. Truth, justice, and reconciliation reports are out. Implement them. Then we can start. Kini mambo ya kusema ati corruption. I'm not there. History was written for us. But justice is waiting on us. Ndung'u Land Commission report, Truth, Justice, and Reconciliation report are not just old reports. They are our finished revolution. Our unfinished revolution. Thank you.